Good afternoon. Thank you for coming. Today we're going to kind of talk about graduation here. So for some of us it's sad, for some of us it's very exciting, but congratulations. It's kind of your last youth milestone that your kid has and kind of their first adult milestone that your kid has. So I know it can be a stressful time and a sad time and those things, but we're here to try to give you the best possible ceremony we can with the least amount of stress on that day. That we can provide, and hopefully you just have a great lunch, a great dinner afterwards, and you enjoy the ceremony. So I'll kind of go over graduation, just some of the things that we do here and how graduation works. If you were able to attend last year, we got tons of compliments last year. For those of you who don't know, last year was my first year here. Right when I got here last June, that was the hot topic, was graduation. There were some issues that they had, and I was kind of told to fix it. So I spent a lot of time last year planning and preparing and discussing with people and coming up with a way to make graduation a little more smooth for the parents and for the students and for the district as a whole. So that was a big part of what I wanted to accomplish. So that being said, I'll kind of get into everything. Here's how this meeting will work. Just let me get through everything. If you have a question, jot it down in your phone notes or on a piece of paper or something. And then at the end, I'll stay as long as needed to answer questions. Don't feel obligated to sit and listen to everybody's questions. I kind of do that with my faculty meetings too, so people aren't just, I'm ready to go. So if you're ready to go, by all means, be dismissed at the end. If you want to stay and ask questions, I will answer as many that are needed. So I'll do everything I can to help you out. There's a couple issues that I'll bring up that I'll say were issues that we definitely tried to remedy last year, and I feel like we did a good job of it, and then we'll go from there. So first, I'll start with student expectations. I met with students the other day in the gym, and we kind of talked about just some graduation expectations, things they've kind of already been told and been handed, and rehanded some of the same paper back, such as dress code and some of those things. First of all, graduation is for your senior student, but we all know it's not really for them, right? It's for the family and the friends and the audience. So a big expectations for students that I tried to share and I tried to make them realize is it is for them, but at the same time, there's a lot of other people involved. Their behavior is needed. We want to have a good ceremony that is positive, and that there's not a distraction. And like I told them, there's some things that you might find funny and maybe 6 or 7 of your friends do, but nobody else does. So last year we only had one issue in regards to that. And right afterwards, I haven't talked to the kid since, but right afterwards the kid was pretty embarrassed. He took a selfie on stage and took a long time getting off the stage, and it ended up not being as funny as he thought. And I told the kids that before. The year I graduated, everything happened pretty smooth, but the year before me, a kid was kind of fell down on purpose and made a big scene, and even to this day he's still embarrassed. So I try to tell the kids, what you might think is funny in the moment, it's not. It never turns out as funny as you think. So we really want the kids to just have great behavior for 2 hours right there. It's not that long, but for however long the ceremony is, and to get out and be graduated. So any type of disruption, they probably will be asked to leave and be escorted out. So just remind them of that. And if they're escorted out, they won't get their diploma that day. They'll have to come back up to the school Monday or Tuesday in order to get that. So just make sure you take care of that. Cell phones, please just remind them, put their cell phone up, put it in their car, do whatever. There will be plenty of time after graduation all over this lawn and in the gym and wherever they want to take pictures. In the back, we'll have teachers who are in there the whole time. We have a Ziploc bag. We'll put your kid's name on it. We'll put their keys in there, their cell phone in there, and we'll put it up, and then we'll put it in their folder with their diploma. Then because every student will go back in there right when it's over before they come out, because they'll come in there and that's when we'll give them their actual diploma. On stage, they just get their little cardboard cutout for the picture. So we'll give them their actual diploma then, and then hand them all their stuff back. So please just tell them, put all your stuff away. It's a couple hours to be with your friends and kind of be in the moment. So just help us with that. But student expectations, I think they'll be fine. We've talked to them about it already. I can only control what happens after they make a mistake. I can't control beforehand, but I hope for everybody in here, I hope we just have a smooth ceremony and all our kids just kind of do what they should as they leave. Parking was a huge issue 2 years ago. It was kind of a disaster, and you had all kinds of stuff. Last year, people praised us on our parking. They really said we did a great job. Coach Welburn's not here. He kind of set it up, but he kind of left the blueprint for us, and we have a couple coaches who are taking that over. So all I ask of you in regards to parking is do what the coaches, they're mainly coaches, do what they tell you in regards to parking, because it's only organized if people are being organized and going where they're supposed to. So we'll fill up this parking lot first right here, which is the main student parking lot. And then we will start to fill the overflow parking lot in the back by the water tower. The only entrance that we have so that we can control the flow and control the parking is you can only come in at 350. So you won't be able to come in the back way of 190. So we'll shut that pretty early, about 6:15. So you won't be able to come in that way, and we'll park here first. Once we get it filled up, we will then, we'll have golf carts and coaches everywhere. We'll move you around to the back side to park. The band parking lot, which is directly across from the field house, that parking lot is the handicap parking lot. So you might not get a spot right up to the building, but we'll have 2 golf carts there. We'll pick people up, we'll drive them to the front, and we'll go from there. So the handicap parking lot will be there. Then once it gets closer to graduation time, we'll start using those available parking spots as well. So we do have a pretty good system. Our teachers, well, I'll go with students first. In order to alleviate about 150 cars, maybe more, our students park at the junior high and are bussed over. If they don't have a car, you still drop them off at the junior high and they're bussed over. We will have somebody there about 6:15, 6:30. So if you want to drop them off early so you can get in line, that's fine. We'll have somebody over there as early as we can, but they park over there and we bus them over. It worked really well last year. Just a reminder for them, we already told them this, but they don't have to have their gown on, just have it on a hanger. They'll put their gown on when they get here, because when they go through security through the back door, they won't have their gown and cap on anyway. So they'll park at the junior high. That opens up some spots for us, maybe more around the number of 175. Our teachers can either park at the junior high, and some of them do, and they bus over, also to help us with crowd control, so some do that. Or we park them at their own risk in the grass behind the ag barn. But there's lots of nails and stuff, so some choose not to do that. Some take the risk. But that's kind of where our teachers park. So we've kind of got we got all our teachers out of the way, and we got all of our students out of the way, which helped with parking. And then where we say you really have to listen to us is because if we start parking cars along the sidewalk, we want them in a certain direction. So if somebody parks on the other side, well, then it messes it all up. So just listen to those coaches as they direct you. Getting out of here is difficult. It always has been. But when we do get out of here, we will open that back gate so people can go out both ways. Officer Blackburn will try to get control of that light right there by Stripes, but we usually are never able to pull that off. So we will make parking as stress-free as possible. Nobody likes to wait in line, obviously, to get out of here, but just work with us, because if we can get it in here organized, we can get out much more organized as well. So those guys put a lot of thought and effort into making sure it flows really well. So parking's one big issue that I think we've cleared up the best we can, but you're also putting you're putting about 2,500 people here on campus. So that's about twice of what we occupy normally. See. Yeah, hit everything on parking. The high school students who park at the junior high, they will bus over at 8. So they need to be there by at least 7:45. We have 6 buses over there, so we're not making them sit 3 to a seat. We'll get them on there comfortably, no more than 2 to a seat. They'll sit with their friend and come on over, so we won't make it uncomfortable for them. Kind of some guest expectations: no balloons or signs. We don't want them in front of the people behind you, so no balloons or signs. Keep those in your car to take pictures with afterward, or keep them at the house, those type of things. Plus we're a latex-free campus. We'll need that still for tomorrow. Lastly, and this is one thing I wasn't able to fix last year, I really hope I can fix it this year. I'm going to try to put a reminder in graduation before we start calling names. We don't have a ton of graduates. I've been at a huge Fort Bend Hightower graduation with just tons of kids and tons of names. We don't have that many here. If you're an A, please just wait until the Z's are done. What happens a lot of times is your student walks across the stage and then you want to beat the traffic and you want to get out of here, so you get up and you start leaving. Well, now the D person, they can't see because, and by the time you get to the D, the A, B's, and C parents are all trying to get out of here. Well, now they can't see their kid across stage. So if you would, when that part of the ceremony starts, please just stay in your seat till it's over. It doesn't take that long, but it really will help the people behind you as they wait to graduate. So I'll try to put a reminder in this year in graduation, but that is a big piece of it. There's no sitting or standing on the rail. Even if your kid comes up there, we don't want you sprinting up there to take a picture. We get a pretty good picture of them right there as they're crossing the stage. Ms. Birdwell takes pictures throughout, so please don't do that. We'll have some officers there, but we really want everybody to see the ceremony and enjoy it. So if you do want to hoot and holler and cheer very loud, that is fine. Just do it quickly, all right? Be very loud, be very proud, but just do it quickly so that they can hear the next name announced. And Miss Alexander does a good job of pacing names, but if it continues and it continues to be loud, then people just have to, then she has to stop and wait, and it just drags out the ceremony. So be as loud and as proud as you want, just do it very quickly, and really let your kid know you appreciate them and getting across stage. So those are just some guest expectations. So lastly, how we did this last year, and this was a little different. So when I first got here, it was first come, first serve, and when they opened those doors, it was just whoever could, it was almost like Black Friday shopping. Just get in there, find a seat, and get where you can. I had some complaints from a couple parents who didn't get to see their kid walk because they left at some point in the ceremony, but then the people inside were told, don't let anybody else in, so they couldn't let anybody else in. It really, because they didn't have a system for people to go in and out. So I don't want that. I want you as a parent and your family to be able to see your kid graduate. So no matter what, we have a certain number of seats in there. That doesn't matter. So we do tickets. Your graduate gets 8 tickets. Everybody gets 8 tickets. So everybody has 8 tickets to start with. And the ticket gets you in the door first so that you can go get a seat and you can find it. And then we have plenty of extra seats. Last year we let in, I'd say 350, 400 people, Miss Elwell, somewhere in there. So we let in a good number extra. So, and that was at about 45 minutes before it started. So what we have is we have 2 lines. We have a line that has tickets. So those people at 8:15 who have tickets, they will come in first. You'll turn your ticket in as you walk into the home or visitor side entrance. Make sure you ask your kid what side they're on before graduation. So when they go to graduation practice, and we'll tell the kids this at practice too, make sure you know which side they're on so that you can get on the correct side. But either way, they come in, you'll come in, you'll turn in your ticket, and then you'll go, you'll find your seats. Please don't save seats. I mean, save them for 2 people. I mean, if they go to the bathroom, I understand that, but don't, you know, we can't save 7 rows. We got to make sure we don't do that. But go in, find your seat, and then when you leave, so if you walk out, you'll be handed a ticket, and then you go back there or whatever, and then to come back in, you have to have that ticket again. So it makes it to where we can't trade around tickets and those things. I know exactly how many people can fit in there. Last year I got the fire marshal up here. We can fit 2,005 people in the stands on both sides combined, and we can fit 596 on the floor. We had to measure the floor, and he did math and this and that. So the fire marshal came and we figured out exactly how many could be in the gym. So it's a little more than 2,500. So no matter what, that's the total number of people we can have. What we try to do with the tickets is make sure it's a little more equitable and everybody can get in there. I will say this, some seniors are already selling their tickets, so if you need a couple more, I guarantee you there's probably something out there where kids are kind of selling them anyway. But and I've been in another school that does tickets and it's very similar. We will, and then we will have a second line, which is the first come, first serve. So you can come get in that line, and I can guarantee you the first 200 people in that line are probably going to get in. Maybe not that, well, about that many. I can almost, I mean, we let in twice that last year. So once you get there, you wait in that line. So people with tickets can come in at 8:15, and then at 9:15, that group can start coming in. We'll hand them a ticket as they come in, and then they'll go to the entry door, hand their ticket, and they can go sit down. And then once again, when they come out, they have to get a ticket, so we're not trading and borrowing. And then once it fills up and we've handed out a certain number of tickets, you can sit right here in the commons in the cafeteria. We'll have both screens pulled down, and we'll live stream graduation. So also, if you have relatives who live out of state, out of town, can't get here anyway, there will be a link on the high school graduation page that takes you to the Facebook Live, so they can watch it as well as on Facebook Live. So we do have some options to watch. So every kid gets 8 tickets. That guarantees them to get in at 8:15, and then beginning about 9:15, we'll start letting everybody in. And then once I hand out the total max tickets for the day, we'll go from there. So, and until I'll try to let in as many as I can until they tell me to stop. 8 tickets does mean per person, no matter the age of the person. Common sense wise, we all know that infant is going to sit in your lap, but fire marshal wise, that doesn't matter. Fire marshal, a person, well, a person's a person. If you're breathing, you count as a person, and that's a ticket. So we can't let you have 8 tickets and then bring 3 little kids with you. Those take a ticket as well, just because I have to know how many people are in there, because if I can't really guarantee him that, then he can say, okay, that's it, and I don't really want that to happen. So we spend a lot of time on making sure it works, but 8 tickets, no matter, that's kind of how that works. Like I said, when you leave the gym area, we'll give you a ticket back, and you have to have that ticket to get back in. The only entrance is going to be over here in Memorial Walkway. So even if you park back here, if we make you park back here, we will have probably 3 or 4 golf carts that can run you over here if you don't want to make the walk around the school. But this will be the main entrance, because it's the only way I can make sure we have the line going. So we'll have a line that comes in right at the Commons off Memorial Walkway. That'll be for tickets, and then more down towards that corner, what we call the Fine Arts corner, that'll be more where that second line will start lining up, and then we'll bring people in. So it worked well last year. I think we let people in maybe at 8:05, 8:10, because it started getting pretty hot out there and there was already a pretty big line. So we started kind of letting them in and go from there. The earliest somebody showed up last year was about 6:45. You do not have to get here that early. I can almost guarantee you'll get a pretty good spot if you're here at 8:15. So they got here really early. One group did go and put a bunch of signs that said reserved. That was the night before or something like that. Somebody said they wanted to take pictures and then put reserve. We're not going to do that. I'm going to take those down. So don't, Tarkington graduates the night before. Don't come to their graduation and reserve your seats for tomorrow. We'll pull those off. But it was, I do appreciate the effort. So that's kind of how graduation works. Last year we had a bunch of meetings and we really came up with the best solution we could find. We looked through every alternative. I spent a lot of time. And I remember after graduation, I sent a big thank you out on the Facebook page as the principal, and we had tons of compliments, and things really went pretty smooth. We had a lot of compliments on parking, because that has been a disaster throughout the years. So we're excited about how it worked and how it went. I know some people say, well, 8 tickets isn't enough. My family's pretty big, I understand. But, no matter what, we only have the amount of seats we have. So, this family brings 35, well then maybe now you can't get in. So we try to make it as equitable as possible, and like I said, there's some trading and wheeling and dealing already by the seniors. So if you need a couple extra, just talk to your seniors. I bet they can figure some of that out. Dress code, your girls can't have a strapless dress or really spaghetti strings. It doesn't have to cover the whole shoulder, but needs to be covered. They don't really want their dress longer than their gown. It doesn't look good, so make sure you talk to them about that. Heels, we want all these girls to take the best pictures. We know that's a big part of it, and putting on social media, those things. Be careful with the heels, going up that ramp. If they're not really good in them, could make for an embarrassing moment going up that ramp or those stairs. So make sure you talk to them about the shoes they have. Make sure they can kind of walk in them. Boys need dark pants, then a light colored shirt with a tie. We have some ties, and we have ways to get some of that stuff if your child needs that. And boys will be clean shaven. So Our dress code is 1/4 of an inch, but you don't understand how much of a battle that is to figure out what 1/4 of an inch is. So like I told the boys, they're going to be clean shaven 3 times in their life: their graduation, their wedding, and their funeral. So just make sure they get clean shaved. We have a couple who've got some nice beards going, but we want everybody clean shaved, so that we're just kind of in dress code. So just make sure your boys are clean shaved by graduation practice. We really want everybody by graduation practice to be clean shaven. That's the Thursday before graduation. So like I said, sound was another big issue. Last year we cleared up the sound. We've hired the same company. They come in and they guarantee that the sound will work, which last year it was great. The sound worked really well. And also, if the sound doesn't work really well, I can blame them. So it kind of helps me out also. So it's not my fault or the system's fault. They bring in their own set, they tap into ours, and sound really worked well last year, which was another big complaint. If your student has a very difficult name to pronounce, we will practice it at graduation over and over until they like the way it's pronounced. And Miss Alexander does a great job with that. And then other than that, let me check. If you do go to the website and you go to the high school and then you go to graduation, there's a lot of information on there about parking, graduation practice, those things. So feel free to check that out. Do not iron your cap and gown, and nothing can be written on the cap either. So no, you can't adjust your cap or gown at all. It's got to be how it comes. Do not iron it. It'll burn a hole in it. We've dealt with that before. We do have steamers in the counselor's office, so during flex, bring it up here, we'll steam it and we'll get it ready for your child. Also, if it's still sitting in the box at home and still folded up, please take it out tonight, hang it up. That'll help tremendously with getting some of those wrinkles out. When they do come to graduation practice, some of them are on flex, a lot of seniors are on flex, so they might not have been in dress code for a couple weeks. They do need to show up appropriately dressed. Don't come just right off the lake. All right, so please encourage your child on graduation practice to be how they should be. When they come here at 8, y'all won't see them until graduation. So we organize and get a lot of stuff set up in the small gym. We take care of all that, and then nobody's allowed back there. We keep that place pretty secure. Then after graduation, they will process out. If you happen to be somebody sitting on the floor, you must wait until they process out. You can't join the procession and walk out with them. Let them get out. They will go back, like I said, to the small gym. They have to, so we can give them their diploma and their stuff. And then they're all yours and they'll come out. Like I said, a lot of people take pictures and do some different things out here and all over the place, which with how traffic's going to be, that might as well be what you do anyway. So traffic will be pretty tough. Other than that, no noisemakers, no bells, nothing like that. Please just whistles and voices, things like that. So if you do go to the graduation webpage, there's some question and answers that I had from last year that are on there, and then just some other general information. The next 3 weeks will be stressful for you if you have a senior, so make sure, and I don't think they communicate very well right now, so they're definitely not taking the announcements home to you, but feel free to email myself or Ms. Pedigo at any time, Ms. Litton as well. Just email me or the counselors and we will get you any answer you need so that graduation goes really well. So here, in conclusion, that's kind of all I have on my talking part. So if you have any questions, I will take those as long as needed. If you don't, like I said, don't feel obligated to stay here and wait as people ask questions. So I'll answer questions. If you do want to step out, feel free, and that's all I have. So any questions?
We have the live stream on Facebook too.
The live stream I mentioned, and we'll have that link up. Just tell people to go there and they can watch the live stream as they go.
What door will they come out when they release?
So the door that the students will come out when they are released is they'll either come out the main entrance to the small gym over here, or they'll just kind of walk out back into the main gym and go out that way. So those are the 2 ways they'll go. They won't go out back or anything like that. Your student will ride here on the bus. Last year, for whatever reason, there are about 20 who didn't want to have their parents drop them back off at the junior high. So about 30 minutes after graduation, we'll send a bus back over there so they can get their car. Most people ride with their parents, go eat, do whatever, and then get their car later. But we'll have security over there for at least 30 minutes after graduation's over. So you might not want to leave there all night, but I don't think anything dangerous would happen. But that's kind of what we'll have over there. So, but that's where your cars will be. We'll have a couple teachers assigned who stay over there during that time. Yes, so tickets will be given at graduation practice because that way makes it a little harder to duplicate and make some extra ones and see how we made them. But that's number one. But graduation practice, that way I can also guarantee that your child comes to graduation practice. They do have to attend graduation practice in order to walk. Last year we had 2 that didn't, but they got pre-approved way ahead of time. So if your child is going to miss graduation practice, it needs to be for a pretty good reason, and let us know. Like I said, there's probably on your way home, you're going to be like, I wish I would have asked this, or how does this work? Feel free to email me. Thank you for coming. I think communication helps a lot, and that's it.